Oh, nice little track. Right, hello and welcome back to Add Your Eyes. We're just coming back from Ashbourne, and just over there is Darley Moor. It's a nice little racetrack. I think it was an old airfield. Like having a look at the shape of it. But anyway, yeah, we have a nice little drive to Dovedale, which is in Derbyshire, and just heading back home now. And today's topic I wanted to talk about is, it might be one of those unpopular opinions. It's about people who buy these limited edition motorbikes just to store them and never ride them. So for example, there's I say quite a few. There's a few Ducati models. For example, the Diavel, which is the Bentley Diavel, the Panigale Lamborghini, and the Street Fighter, I think it's the Supreme one. But you hear stories about people who, they've got a Lamborghini, so they buy the motorbike equivalent of that Lamborghini, and they'll never ride it. And a lot of people who buy these bikes can't even ride a bike. They just buy it to match their car. And I think from a biker's point of view, it's quite sad, because you want to see these really nice exotic bikes on the road and being used. You don't want to see them just locked away, you know, put on show just for people just to come round and have a little look. But yeah, I don't really understand. I can understand why people buy them, but it's more of a frustration when they're not being used. And I think I don't know how, it can't really, it's not a thing to get around. You can't say, right, you need to have a bike license to actually buy these, you know, nice sort of exotic bikes, limited edition, one of a kind, or I think some of them make sort of 25, 50, 75, you know, units of that certain bike. And I think it could go on to another topic, which is why people buy bikes and never use them in the first place. You know, genuine people who got the license, and you know, they're only putting, well, you see some on the Auto Trader, especially Ducatis. I think this might be a bit of a I don't know, some people say like a hot take, but they, you know, it's people with plenty of money, and they do the bike license, and they've got the money just to go out and buy whatever bike they want. And you know, this sort of the sexy exotic brand, which I think personally is Ducati. So they go out and buy a 200 horsepower, 180 horsepower Panigale or Street Fighter or something like that, and it just scares the hell out of them. So they end up putting 400 or 500 miles on, you know, something really, really small, and then end up selling them, or keeping them for a while and just never riding them, because, you know, probably worried about what damage they can cause to themselves, to others, and the bike. But I think, you know, you want to go to these bike events and bike meetups and see the nicest bikes. No, I can understand when people have got 2, 3, 4, 5 bikes and they can't ride them, you know, at the same time. So they might have 5 bikes that have got, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 miles on the clock. They're 2, 3 years old. It's because they've got many bikes, but that's not normally the case. But I think, yeah, that's my I don't know, my 2 pence, let's say, on these limited edition bikes. It's just a bit sad to see them bought by collectors or just people who, I don't know, think they're gonna go up in value and then they try and flog. But I don't know, that's not always the case. I don't know. I have a conversation with people about, you know, different people who don't use their bikes often, and you know, I just get told to leave my nose out of it. I'm only kidding. But I don't know, what do you think? First of all, people who buy them limited edition bikes and they can't even ride a bike, or they buy it and they just never use it. I know there's a guy on Fastlane D. He's just bought the Ducati Panigale, the Lamborghini, and he's planning on using it. I think he's planning on taking it on a track as well. And I like to see that. I like to hear that, because it's being used. No, I'm not a massive car guy, but I also like to see nice cars on the road, Aston Martins, and yeah, the Lamborghini, but also the older Sierra Cosworths and XR3Is and RS Turbos, and there's not many about. So it's a bit of a treat when you do see them. Because I think nowadays the cars are just, I don't know, a little bit characterless, a little bit soulless. So yeah, just let me know what you think. But yeah, thank you very much for listening to me having a rant or a moan, and I'll be interested to hear what, if any of you guys have got a limited edition bike, or you know of someone, or it frustrates you just as well. But yeah, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Take care, guys.